World of YouTube, true crime, material site, and everything else. Today we're going over everything else. Sorry, there's no light. I had to put my light upstairs for a moment. Using it for something, but I forgot to bring it down. Today I wanted to go over a very sad story. And, I would like to really, put out there about pretty much humiliation, making someone feel 2 inches big, and it should never be that way. Of course, in this cruel world, I want to even say that Disney had a part in letting this happen. Sometimes I really do think that Disney is overrated. Very overrated these days. And back in their huge prime. This is the story of Bobby Driscoll. You see him here winning an Oscar. I think he won 2 of them for being Best Child Actor at the time. Played in some, about, I want to say at least maybe 5, 6 movies back in his heyday. But I want to show this for the, he lived in a tenement, Greenwich Village. Now, don't get me wrong, there could have been some foul play in this case, but to the point of where Disney hired someone. I'm trying to find that. Well, of course, there's Mr. Disney himself. And one of the movies, mind you, that he was in, literally, got booted. I mean, no, didn't get booted, but got bad reviews or something for racism or something. But, and I think that might have, Bobby was Disney's live action Mickey Mouse in his heyday, of course. But I want to get to the point. Excuse me. You know, in the impish face. So, here we go. By the time Driscoll voiced Peter Pan, which I believe it's the animated movie, this would, if anybody has seen that, that was his voice. And he no longer had the impish face that kept him gainfully employed as a youth. He was just another teen boy with a bad case of acne. In today's world, it's familiar, predictable narrative to star began his or her career on the Disney lot grows up out of squeaky clean. Of course, we have Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, willingly left the Mickey Mouse Club. Driscoll didn't have a choice when the studio unexpectedly dropped its golden child in 1953. When Howard Hughes brought RKO, he became the owner of Disney Studio. He controlled the money, and he hated Bobby Driscoll. Hated Hollywood kids. He thought they were precocious, weren't real, and were incredibly annoying. Didn't want Bobby Driscoll to be with Disney anymore. The split was devastating, of course. And he was, booted rather rudely. This is a guy that he used to hang around with. And as soon as he pulled up, he found out as he was trying to pull into the Disney gates that he was no longer needed. So, for Disney to bring forth a man that hates kids, literally, when Disney was made for kids' imaginations. You know, when I first went to Disney World back in, I think it was with my mother back in 77 or 78. No, 79. 79. Yeah, that was just one of the, as a kid, the amazingest thing I've ever seen. Even though you get the Small World song stuck in your head, it was just amazing. You couldn't explain it. Like a dream come true. And for Disney or whoever took over Walt's, business and hired this D-I-C-K head. And being kids weren't real. Kids weren't supposed to be real. Kids were supposed to have imaginations. Kids were supposed to be in fantasy land, being seeing Disney live or being in it. And that's what acting is all about. You got to be able to become a character and come out of being a character. Sadly, like people that lost their lives staying in the character, like Heath Ledger, getting into the Joker and staying there and led to his demise. A good actor and actress gets into character, gets out of character. And for this guy to say weren't real, well, no kidding, buddy. Kids ain't supposed to be real. They're supposed to be playing an imaginary part and doing their job, stupid. And I don't even need to go to friggin' acting school for that. I mean, I've always wanted to try to get into movies, but didn't happen. Didn't have the right, path. And I sure in the hell didn't need no schooling for it, because I can go into character, come right out of character. I could be anything I want. But for Disney, like I say, to have this scene in red is just friggin' insane. Oh, he hated all kids. You sick son of a... Why would you put in charge for one in something that was built for kids? You're gonna go around and dampen the friggin' situation by... I don't know. So this kid, just got cold-cocked right out of the business. And you would think a kid winning 2 friggin' Oscars, Hollywood would bounce him back, try something new. He did try stuff new, and he tried to go back to school, but he dropped out. And why? This is the main reason why I want to do this, because of drugs. Heroin, that may be, precise. One of the worst friggin' drugs you can ever stick in your arm. I talked to a recovering heroin addict, and what he told me was a good friend, but sad that he got hooked on that stuff. And what he told me was, once you stick that needle in your arm and that high kicks in, you are looking for that same high, and it don't happen. That goes for crack, too, all kinds of them drugs. The first high is immaculate, amazing. And the reason why people go downhill and stop robbing, stealing is because they want that high. They keep doing the drug and they can't get the first high. It's done. And unfortunately, right, it leads to your demise. Or it leads to you losing teeth, losing your looks, losing, everything around you. Family, friends. You lose everything. And this kid really went downhill, even though he was hanging around with people. He's actually hanging around with one of my favorite shows from the 80s, Quantum Leap. The guy with the hologram used to come up to help, what's his name, out to get to his next destination. I forget his name, but it's in this article. I'm sure you tapped on it while you're reading. I forget. Hope I don't forget to put it in. But he's in this article, and this guy used to hang around with that guy. But it's just insane. You sit here and look at this article, man, and how he died. It's a sad situation. And, damn it, excuse me, the family. Where was his family? He supporting him. So by the time, he met women, he supposedly met some women, got kids, divorced a woman, married a woman, supposedly went back and forth, getting married. I don't know. He had a lot of marriages and divorces. The women weren't even wanting him, or one of his oldest sons don't even have fond memories of his parents because they were, all he could remember was living in a house and a table full of pounds of weed, marijuana and stuff. And, of course, back in my day, parents are out doing their thing. Kids will get left home alone. And, yeah, it's sad. Especially when they get hooked on drugs. But he, became a dealer too, and that's why I say doing some of that. Dealing in the, the heavy stuff. That's why I say this could have also been a fatality of murder. But they say he, OD'd, and he did go to a rehab in prison. He did do some interviews when he got out. All in this article, but I can just imagine what the hell really happened to this guy and who he really got hooked up with. But, shame on Disney for hiring this idiot. And, Howard Hughes. Yeah, they should, instead of in effect, they should have put in infection. Infect. That's just sick. 2 boys found this guy laying in a friggin', in his apartment. Tenement. If anybody don't know what that is, it's about people that it's just a temporary living tenement, temporary. Where drifters wander around. But the parents wanted to say his clothes were at his parents, but he was hardly home. And that's where he did live and reside. But where were their support? Shame on his parents, too. They didn't, seeing his son slowly inject himself with poison and ended up dying. Because, that, and it's sad to say, and I could just almost put money on it, that they just gave up on him because, you got kicked out of Disney. Make us no more fame. And it's funny sometimes that back in them days, just like friggin' Francis Farmer becoming a straight up alcoholic because that woman only wanted to find love from a man and live with a man and have kids with a man, but ended up dying alone because she was another one used and abused in Hollywood. And back in these days, man, if you become one of these outsiders, one of these drug users, you're done for. There's no life for you. People don't give a damn. I mean, I try as much as I can to educate my kids, and my kids, my two oldest sons are starting to go in a route that I don't like, but they go the route, but they stay out of it, and they know better to do heavy stuff like this, but still, I didn't raise my kids to smoke weed, and they're into that kind of, and smoking, and you want to talk about peer pressure. But they know enough that if they go any further in that dark world, I already put it in their head, they will deal with the consequences with me. Because I'm not watching any of my kids take that damn poison. They know it. So, I mean, trying to get by what I know about them little rats, but I don't want them ending up like this. And I will do anything in my power to keep that from happening. But where was this guy? Driscoll left his parents at 16, but ended up back. He had no residence. My clothes were at my parents' house, but I didn't live anywhere. My personality had suffered during my, marriage, and I was trying to recoup it. Well, hanging out, here's Dean Stockwell, Quantum Leap. Love that show, one of my favorite shows. But here he is hanging around with, people that are, very high-mannered actors at the time. I'm sure, I think Dean Stockwell did other movies rather than the TV show, but I'm not trying to, they said that they were trying to, help him and everything, but why they weren't getting him into movies or keeping him, off it, but they said that, Driscoll is Driscoll, and he did what he wanted to do. So, people tried to reach out to him, but kid didn't want to listen. But like I say, the way he was found, the way he, no doubt in my mind that he OD'd, but I think it could have been something more sinister because all the divorces and problems he had with his wives, who knows if they had someone come up on him or, just so many things you can think about, but it is the main reason that he was a bad addict. And it says right there, reaction to heroin, it wasn't a secret. So, that's just the way it was. He liked heroin. And after he got out of the, the rehab there, Bobby, he was saying, I don't know why I did so much or why I even got into that. But, everybody says that. Because it makes you feel good. Makes you feel out of sorts and brings you in another world. This is what I'm told. And right, when you get in that world, though, you never want to come out. And it takes a lot out of your pocket. A lot out of your life. But, unfortunately, I blame Disney and that guy. And for Disney to allow the man to come in to say he hates kids, even though if Disney was dead, there should have been something else reinforced to have that man come in and be owner of Disney Studios, because Disney was, all about kids. But yet, let this jerk off move in and I hate kids, they're fake, they're not real. Oh, they're not real, stupid, because they're making movies for you and they're making their imagination run wild and make it good. So, yeah, What an idiot. You don't come in and change the ways of a friggin' studio by just... You know, this is just how sick the world has been and how it still continues to be. Just sick, man. It's sad to see stuff like this. And when kids put their work and their lives to great use and bring joy. And one of the guys there went on saying that one of his movies he was in, it was one of, he related to it, he liked it, and probably one of his best performances, but, man, really? And now this guy's in an unmarked... maybe it could be, maybe they upgraded his grave, but when they found this kid's body, man, unmarked grave, on an island, mind you, in New York, there used to be an old asylum. And that's where they put all their John Does, so say. And this kid didn't even get a rightful, burial. Just thrown in the ground and forgotten. Well, I don't want to forget him because kid did some wonders. Kid had talent. He was seen at the age of 5 getting a haircut. And I believe it was from Walt Disney himself. So, to friggin', and that's another thing. Kids change. Kids' looks change. So, can someone tell me why? Why? Back in these days. I don't know, maybe they do it now. But yeah, when I look at kids' shows, I don't see a lot of Acme kids and zits all over their face. And that's just a normal way of life, because you cannot help that. When I turned about 14, I started getting zits everywhere too. But, me, home remedies, try to figure it out and got rid of them. I haven't had not many zits like I used to as a teenager. Being an adult, I seem to can take, control of that and keep myself, zit-free in ways. I'd get a couple here and there, but you would think someone would have the friggin' brains enough to put that into something of a television show or a reason to make sure that you are really dealing with the facts of life. Not just this, good-looking person coming up on the screen, and just because they're so good-looking. And he even said it in one of his interviews. I was always a kid that people said, you're a cute little boy. What about the normal kids? What about the kids that are, got to deal with the situations of life that, bear with me. Yeah, what about them kids that deal with the natural things in life? Dealing with zits, dealing with acne, dealing with, all these things in life that make people think of them as being different. Where were them TV shows? Where were them kids? It's a sick world, man. Just because you got some deformity, and back then, like I say, that shit put your ass back into an asylum. Put you into an asylum with your deformities. So, sick world we live in. I would like to see the kids of naturalness out there than just being good looking. Because that ain't what life is all about. And in Hollywood, well, and even if they do put it in movies and TV shows, they make fun of it. So I can just imagine what this kid went through in his life, man. It's sad. It's sick. Where are the morals in life to teach you what reality is? Especially having acne and stuff like that. But until that next video, be safe, take care, always beware. And be good to others. Out.